morning, everyone. Lovely to meet you all, and welcome to ANU. Again, hopefully this will be brief, but useful information for you. The legal service is provided by PASA, the Postgraduate Association, and by ANUSA, the Undergraduate Association. So the legal service is available to both undergraduate and postgraduate students. It's a free and confidential legal service. ANUSA and PASA are not part of the university, so if you come and see myself or Ray Mardia, there's two lawyers who work there, the information is confidential that you come and discuss with us. Sometimes, international students express concern about whether raising a legal problem might have an effect on their visa, and generally, no, it's not. So you shouldn't feel afraid to seek legal advice if you think you might need legal advice. So up on the board, just a few of the areas that we typically see students about. One is tenancy. Often we're seeing students who've run into problems with landlords. Another area is visa and migration. A lot of students, international students, are interested in staying on after completion of studies, and we provide advice around that process and how you go about it. We also help student entrepreneurs. If you're got a great invention you want to turn into a commercial venture, we can help with legal advice around intellectual property and commercialisation. Another big area that students come and see us about is employment law rights, where sometimes there are problems. The kinds of tenancy dilemmas that come up is, one typical scenario is, can you leave a tenancy early, and what are the consequences of doing so? Can the landlord throw you out? What are your responsibilities in terms of cleaning and that sort of thing? Hopefully you won't run into those issues, and a good way to protect yourself is to get a little bit of information about how the tenancy system works in Australia, or in Canberra. There's two major types of agreements. One is a tenancy, which provides a lot more rights, and another major type is an occupancy agreement. So if you're living on campus, you'll have an occupancy agreement. If you live in a share house somewhere in private accommodation, you should normally have a tenancy agreement, unless you're living with the landlord. In the ACT, these agreements are regulated, so you shouldn't be getting a one-page document with 3 points on it as your tenancy agreement. There's 100 clauses, standard clauses, that every tenant is entitled to. So it's worth finding out what those clauses are before you enter into a tenancy agreement. Of course, you're welcome to come and see us at ANUSA and PASA, and we're very happy to provide you with advice about that. Okay, rights at work. Working rights in Australia are well protected, but whether you enjoy those protections depends largely on you, in the sense that you have to get some information, some knowledge about what your rights are in the working place, and you need to be prepared to walk away from employers that aren't going to do the right thing by you. So don't give you a letter of appointment, aren't paying you properly. $15 is not the minimum wage in Australia. If you're a casual employee, the kind of wage you should be expecting as a minimum is around $22. And often, problems might not arise initially, but if you encounter this kind of situation, the kind of employer that doesn't pay you minimum wage is also the kind of employer that's not going to make sure that you're safe at work. If you're injured at work, you can have very long-lasting consequences for you. Obviously, employment is an important part of student life, and many students seek employment. So what are some of the things to be looking for? So as I mentioned, there is a minimum wage. The base wage is $17.70, but if you're a casual employee, which means that the contract can be ended very quickly, you're entitled to a 25% bonus. So the minimum then turns out to be around $22. Most employment situations you're likely to encounter are going to be covered by an award. And that award has all sorts of rights and entitlements that you have as an employee. For example, on weekends, there are also extra penalty rates that you can be entitled to. Your employer should be providing you with a pay slip. You're also entitled to superannuation, which is a payment that's put away for when an employee retires. Employers are required to withhold tax from your pay. So when you start employment, they should be getting you to fill out a tax form so that they can deduct tax. How much tax is deducted depends on your level of pay. If the level isn't high enough, there's no tax deductions. Okay, so another area you might come and see us about is visa advice, and where both Ray and I are registered migration agents and can provide you with advice on the variety of scenarios you might encounter, both for your own situation and if you have family members who are here with you on your visa, we can also advise around that. So disputes, that's another kind of major area that students encounter. Sometimes tenancy disputes, if you're having an argument with your landlord and they're not wanting to give you your bond back, but other things like debts, you owe someone some money or they owe you some money. Car accidents, we frequently see students come and talk to us about car accidents. So, and just one sort of thing I wanted to share with you because it comes up frequently is if you do buy a car here in Australia, there's compulsory insurance that you have to take out. That compulsory insurance covers you for injury to a person. So if a person is injured, that insurance will cover them for their injury. But that compulsory insurance doesn't cover either loss or damage to your car or loss or damage to another car. So if you happen to run into a BMW, right, it's a big issue for you if you don't have third-party property insurance. So if you're buying a car, think about third-party property insurance because that'll protect you from that situation. Okay. Student entrepreneurs, so this is a particularly fun part of the legal advice we provide. If you or a team of students are thinking about some innovation you want to do and you need legal advice, you're very welcome to come and see us. We also often see students when the university has asked a student to assign or to give IP to the university. That usually applies where the university is funding or a third party is funding the research. So they're the kind of scenarios that we see students in. Both Ray and I are very approachable. It's very easy to make an appointment. Just call us on that number, 61252444, or we can be contacted at that email address, sa.legal@anu.edu.au. Hopefully you won't run into legal problems while you're here. Our aim is that if you do run into legal problems, we can help you resolve them and so minimise the impact on your studies. So welcome once again and all the best with your studies. Thank you.